All right, joining us now is Ryan Dunn. Ryan is the Executive Vice President of Corporate Affairs and the Executive Director of the Virginia Chamber Political Action Committee, and he is an executive with the Virginia Chamber of Commerce. Ryan Dunn, great to have you on, man.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, I'm tired of talking about Roy Moore, okay? If you don't mind, I don't want to talk about that for a segment. I've been covering for the last, seems like 19 days straight. But I do want to talk about energy and natural gas in Virginia, especially in view of the elections. You got a lot of new House members seated. Many of them ran against pipelines, no fracking, no this, no that. One guy that got elected is an avowed communist from Manassas. I don't think Manassas had communists, but he's going to the House of Delegates. Ryan, it is what it is, or he's a socialist or something. So we got to deal with reality, right?
Yes.
Give us an update here. What is the new House of Delegates going to mean for bringing more natural gas through and to Virginians?
Well, John, I was going to, I've been telling a lot of folks that, with every election comes change, but I'm not sure we saw this much change coming to the House of Delegates. We still don't know the outcome of what the majority is going to look like, or if there will be one. With David Yancey holding on by 10 votes down in Newport News. So, lots still pending, I would say, but we've been kind of putting our heads together, looking at what we can do. For us, this has been exactly the opportunity we've been wanting to show the reason that the business community needs to have a long-term strategic plan. And we've been working on that long-term strategic plan for the last year now. We've call it Blueprint Virginia. It is something that we originally started talking about doing because governors only last 4 years, and we wanted to transcend governors and have economic development and the business community's issues go beyond just 4 years and have it be more of a long-term view. So, we spent the last year on the road, 25 regional meetings, over 6,000 businesses participated. We got their feedback. We got them to vote. We heard a list of priorities. So no matter what the House of Delegates may look like, or who's in the General Assembly, or even who's in the governor's mansion, the business community is unified behind the priorities that we need. And, one of those that we know of is certainly energy. We've heard everywhere we go the need for access to affordable, reliable energy. And it goes well beyond just being able to plug in and expecting, quality energy to be delivered through the power lines or underground or wherever it is. It's major manufacturing or job attraction requires a real abundance of energy. I mean, things that cannot just be, put on overhead lines, and people don't want more overhead lines. They've been fighting that for years. So, natural gas gives us an opportunity to put it underground and in a mass quantity deliverable to manufacturing and to all types of businesses in the coming future.
We talk about natural gas in Virginia a lot because it brings jobs. Can you give some examples of businesses that have grown and hired people and expanded and come to the Commonwealth that have benefited directly from natural gas? Because, we talk in terms of like the big picture, the concept, but do you have some real examples of real jobs created because we have the ability to bring natural gas to Virginia businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so we know that, the oil and natural gas business has about 225,000 directly related jobs in Virginia. So that's just in the industry. We know that there are at least $12 billion coming to the state's economy that came in 2015 directly tied to natural gas and the oil industry. So, it's big business when it comes to that, and that creates a lot of jobs and tax revenue for schools and things like that. But we do know, we've heard specifically, we know of one company I can think of off the top of my head is Steel Dynamics out in Roanoke, expanded with a large expansion out there. We also know Virginia Tech actually in 2015 or 16 announced that they were going to be changing over from coal to natural gas, to how they heat and power their entire university and their major. It's going to save Virginia Tech $1 million a year. So, there are real life examples, and the best example I can give are those who will say they won't come without natural gas, because there are a lot of them that you'll never even find out that they considered Virginia for a little bit, because once they get to the point of asking, well, do you have natural gas and major hookup ability, then we never even knew that they thought Virginia would be a good place to locate, until they found out that there is no natural gas connection that met their needs. So a lot of the times we go by the wayside of not hearing about the problems and certainly celebrating the successes. But it's one of those mandatory things now that a business that uses any kind of mass electric or consumption, they are going to ask for.
The bottom line is, if they don't have access to natural gas, a big company is simply not going to come to Virginia if they have energy needs, whether it's Amazon or anybody else. So you have to have this. Ryan, a couple of stats here. 98% of natural gas used in the United States is produced in North America. That's number one. Number two, between 2004 and 2014, natural gas usage in Virginia increased by 50%. Third, natural gas has helped manufacturers in Virginia save more than $57 million in energy costs. So these are stats, right? Facts don't lie. 2 plus 2 is not 10. It's 4. Stats don't lie. Here's my question. How can anybody deny now that natural gas is vital to growing existing business and bringing additional economic opportunity to Virginia? How can anybody argue now no?
Yeah, it's and we're seeing that it's not a lot of people arguing no anymore. This was an initiative that was led by a Democratic governor, and Terry McAuliffe really did push the pipeline, and honestly deserves a lot of credit for standing up to some of his base, if you will, if looking at it politically, and willing to take some flack on it to continue the ball moving forward. And we saw it. We were relieved at the chamber, at least, to understand that whether Ed Gillespie won or Ralph Northam won, both of those guys had said that they were going to continue building the pipeline. A majority, I would say still a majority of the House of Delegates members and senators agree that we need the pipeline. So it really has become a bipartisan effort, which, I think you may be hearing some folks who scream the loudest that they don't want it. But I would say that a majority of folks really do want to see this built, because they understand that at the end of the day, it is a responsible option for bringing a large capacity of energy, and it's underground, it's out of sight. There's so many pipelines already running through the Virginia and the East Coast, thousands of miles of existing pipeline that go unnoticed every single day, that we don't have problems with. They're very safe. Technology is even better. So I think it has started to become, I think people have done a good job of educating themselves and understanding that, we can't have an energy policy of no. We can't say no to coal, and we can't say no to nuclear and no to natural gas, because there goes about 85% of our energy production. So
right.
we have to be realistic in our expectations. But, John, I was going to say, since the election, we know that there's some opportunities. We know that for us, at the Chamber, we've always supported an all-of-the-above approach. That includes offshore wind, that includes solar, it includes coal, it includes natural gas, obviously. So, it's an opportunity, I would say, there's a lot of bipartisan effort that can be gone through in this upcoming General Assembly to accomplish quite a bit, especially in the energy field.
Well, you got to look at it also. A lot of these new Democrats that got elected are very liberal, they're very progressive, and they're not pro-business. But they're going to get a dose of reality, right? Because there's one thing to send out a campaign flyer, and then it's another thing to govern, and it's another thing to be pursuing legislation that hurts business, hurts jobs, hurts opportunity, hurts paychecks, hurts families. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Let's not let this get lost. Both candidates for governor, Ed Gillespie and Ralph Northam, who is now Governor-elect Northam, both supported the pipeline, all right? Northam reluctantly because he was afraid of Tom Perriello and the progressive wing and whatever, but he is a supporter of the pipe. He finally said he wouldn't oppose it, and of course Ed was, banging the cheerleading drum on that. But that kind of got lost in this whole dialogue. We had two candidates for governor, both of them recognizing how important these pipelines are. Hey, Ryan, I got a question from a caller. Eric in Richmond says, can you ask Ryan what is the definition of a well-paying or good-paying job in the Virginia Chamber's opinion?
A good-paying job is one that you can support your family on. That your skills match with what the market is paying for that. I would say this goes into the probably into the minimum wage discussion, which I would imagine is going to be rife with conversation this upcoming General Assembly, and whether the government should be dictating what the minimum wage is, or if that should be something that's left up to employers. We have been long at the Chamber about talking about there are ways to get out of poverty, and that best way is to gain skills and to learn skills that make you more attractive in the workforce. So, I don't know if there's a number that you can put on what a good-paying job is. I think it really does depend on each individual and each individual company or business or small mom-and-pop business. We're going to see a lot of conversations coming up in the General Assembly. The most concerning one that we expect to be hearing come up that we have never seen in Virginia, because we know that a few folks campaigned on it and won on it, and are now coming to the House of Delegates, is talking about doing away with Virginia's right to work.
That's right.
That's a conversation we've never had in Virginia. I mean, it's been around since the 40s, and it has served Virginia very well. For the longest period of time, we were the northernmost state that was a right-to-work state, but nowadays, it's Michigan has gone that way, Wisconsin, West Virginia. It's other places that are forced union states have been going to right to work. Now we're going to probably have the discussion about going the exact opposite direction. Not the discussion we're really hopeful to have, but we expect to see a lot of conversations that we're not used to having come up in the General Assembly.
Well, Ryan, the Democrats are definitely going to submit legislation in order to end right to work in Virginia, right? There's no question about that. Like you say, many of them campaigned on it. But here's the bottom line, Ryan. We think that voters in Virginia need absolutely to remain engaged in the political process. Watch what is going on. Let their legislators know how important it is to keep pro-energy policies in place. We absolutely need to do that. Ryan Dunn, thanks for being with us. We're out of time. You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. And we want to thank Ryan Dunn from the Virginia Chamber of Commerce. Ryan, you got to keep fighting, man. You got to keep fighting, because it's all about jobs, economic opportunity, income growth, business growth. That is the main focus that we have. Better jobs for people, more opportunity. You can't do it by getting rid of right to work, by not having energy sources, by not having pipelines. The economy is going to tank, and then people get put out of work, or they don't have opportunity when they get out of school. John Fredericks Radio Network, thanks for being with us. We'll be right back. Stay with us.